Welcome to episode 45 of the Fire Rescue Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, AZ, and today I sat down with my friend, Michael Pericht, who is a firefighter, a certified strength and conditioning specialist, and a collector of certifications, just like me. I hope you enjoy the episode. Thank you for joining me on the Fire Rescue Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, AZ. I find the research and resources and then provide the fire service with the so what, now what, to ensure the health and well-being of every member of our profession. Together, let's thrive. Hello, Fire Rescue Wellness Podcast listeners. It's your host, AZ. Guess what? I'm still sick. But. Couple things. First of all, I record these far in advance, so it's not like I've been sick for 2 months. Second of all, super disappointed because I was supposed to record live in person with my guest today, so super sad. And I think that's my 2 points. So, welcome to the show, Michael Pericht. Say hello to the listeners.
What's up, podcast fam? How are you?
Oh, I love that. That's good. Mike has a voice for radio. He also has a face for print, so it's kind of not fair, but I digress. Okay. Mike, I always get started with 3 rapid fire questions, which you get to answer in any way that you want, and the microphone is going to be yours. So the first question is, who is Michael Pericht?
Well, Michael Pericht is, first and foremost, a husband, a father of 2. I'm a firefighter, paramedic, fitness professional. Have a bachelor's in exercise science and a few other certifications to go along with it. And pretty much just like a fitness enthusiast. You know, it's something I enjoy doing and something, I try to get the most out of, in my life and promote that as well.
That is a great answer. And because he did not elaborate, I'm going to. Mike has the coolest family. He is his wife, Morgan, so smart, so beautiful, and they're little, incredibly well-behaved. I just want to squish them. They're so cute. Callie and Cameron. He has a wonderful, wonderful family and a fantastic love story. So if you ever get a chance, ask Mike about that. All right. Next question, Mike. What sets your soul on fire?
There's a few things that set my soul on fire, but really, one is being a dad. I really do enjoy the time that I share with my girls and my family, and trying to, raise them and develop them. And, my goal is to teach them to be strong, confident, independent, young ladies and women when they grow up. So that's really been a big focus of mine lately on a personal level. But from a fitness standpoint and a work standpoint, I really just want people to understand like how simple and easy being healthy and being fit and taking care of yourself can be. I think a lot of people try to overcomplicate things, and they really want to, they want to find the magic answer. They want to do all this research to find things that they've never heard of before, when honestly the answers are right there in front of them. They've known their entire lives. They just have to do it, and they just have to be consistent. That's really been something of late that, I'm really trying to promote and express, and hope people can catch on to.
It cannot possibly be sleep or nutrition or moving your body. It has got to be cold plunge and some supplement I haven't found yet.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. In some magical program with some magic exercises that nobody's done, but that's going to be the key. That's going to be that's the it factor that's going to change everything.
Yeah. In case you stopped listening for 5 seconds, that was sarcasm. Okay. Mike, what? Or I should say, how are you changing the world?
Again, I think I'm just trying to express how simple things can be. I try to tell people that I work with who ask, or people that are asking me questions about fitness and about health and how do I do this? How do I reach my goals? I tell them how simple it is. I don't overcomplicate it for them. Let's move every day. Let's eat whole nutritious foods. Let's eat protein. let's drink water, and let's get some sleep. It's pretty simple, and I think people kind of are maybe disappointed when I tell them how simple it can be, but at the same time, it's the truth. So I'm trying to change the world with simplicity, I guess.
Ooh, Mike is out here spitting simplicity. I love that. And I wanted to give a brief disclaimer. As Mike mentioned, he is a firefighter. And so we're going to talk about some things pertaining to his department, and what he talks about today represent his own views and not those of his employer. So there's our disclaimer. All right, Mike. You know what? I want to, you didn't mention it, and so I actually want to dig it out a little bit here. We met, I think it was in either early 2019 or late 2018. You had reached out after I was on a podcast. We had a discovery call. You told me, I just got hired, I'm on probation, and I'm trying to, change the world in my department because they've asked me to help manage this program. And do you remember the advice I gave you?
I think, it was basically along the lines of, well, good luck. It's not easy to change, and you've been 100% right. It's not, but at the same time, our department, I think we do an okay job of being progressive and taking some initiative in making sure that guys are healthy and really promoting fitness, from a whole perspective as well. And it's taken time, and I'm not the only one who can be credited for laying the groundwork and helping this be in the position that we are in currently. But it's definitely been difficult, and I know other departments, they do face their challenges as well.
I'm so happy that you actually remembered what I said. And I think it was probably, well, Mike, good luck. It's really tough to be a prophet in your own kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And after I hung up, though, I got to thinking, I'm like, if anyone can do it, it's this guy. Oh. And it's because of what he told me about his background. So Mike didn't mention it, but he had been in a position as a certified strength and conditioning coach. He'd also played some professional sports. So give us a little bit of perspective about what happened after you graduated from high school, like the 2-minute version from high school to now.
Okay. So rapid fire, high school to now. I went to college for 3 years, and then got drafted and played some minor league baseball in the Los Angeles Dodgers organization. Played there for about 4 years, and then decided I needed to go back to school and graduate. So I went to DePaul University, graduated with a bachelor's degree in exercise science. Was working as a strength conditioning coach / personal trainer for a couple of years, and then realized I need something a little bit more stable. I need something that's going to benefit me in my future in the long run and help support a family, etc. Started asking guys at the gym that I knew were firefighters, because I had a previous interest in firefighting, even coming out of college, and while I was playing ball, just didn't pursue the education for it at the time. But started asking those guys how they like their jobs, how what it took to be a firefighter, those sort of things. And everyone I talked to just raved about how it was the best job in the world. They loved their job, yada yada yada. I'm like, okay, well, start doing some internalization and thinking of what are my strengths, what can I do, how can I help, how can I make the world a better place, and basically realize this was my job, this was my calling as well. So pretty much dove head first and started going to EMT school, and after EMT school, then it was the fire academy, and then right after fire academy became paramedic school, and before I knew it, I had my first job offer, and the rest is history.
And Mike is great at what he does, and you know what AZ is not great at? Sports. But I want to play just a tiny little game here. Mike, how tall are you?
I am 6'5".
Okay, you're 6'5". And when you were playing minor league ball, how much did you weigh approximately?
When I was playing ball, I mean, I was in the realm of like 230 to 245.
Okay,
Or I'm sorry,
so
230 to 235 in there.
230 to 235. Okay,
Yeah.
so a young man who's 6'5" and weighs around 235 would normally play what position?
On a baseball field,
Yeah.
uh, maybe first base, third base, corner outfield, pitcher, something like that.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
And what were you?
I was a catcher.
That blows my mind. 6 feet 5 inches of squatting ass to grass blows my mind.
Hmm.
We'll get to your Instagram account later, but if you watch this man squat on his exercise demos, it is like a symphony, and it's incredible. He's so tall and he squats so well. Okay, I have ADHD today. It's wow. The cold medicine's got to be the cold medicine. Okay, so circling back, I hung up the phone from talking to Mike and thought, this is going to be tough for him, but if anyone can do it, it's him, because he has the background. He's bringing the credentials into what his department's asking him to do. Because remember, a lot of times the chief just looks at, oh, you run marathons, you're going to be in charge of the fitness program. So Mike actually has the credentials, but here's where the magic came in. His department also puts their money where their mouth is. And so let's start digging into how you began building out your program with the support of your department financially.
Well, one of the things that I told them when I took over the fitness program was like, all right, look, I can't do this alone. No successful program can do it alone. We have 160 some people, on the department. That's a lot for one guy to do who works for 24 hours and then he goes away for 2 days. And I was like, well, so if we're going to do this, we're going to need to, recruit some other people who need to be educated as well. So one, I started reaching out to a few guys who I knew were interested in fitness, who either had backgrounds in it themselves or just exhibited a love for working out and being in shape and all those things. And saw or asked them if they would be interested in learning more. Maybe becoming certified in some way. I was researching different certification courses and things like that. The peer fitness trainer was one that our department went through a few years ago, and that kind of fell through. Guys didn't really keep up with it, and then the department as a whole never really kept up with it. But with my background with the NSCA and the CSCS, I started searching the credentials over there and found the TSAC certification, started researching the course itself and the best way to go about it, and we ended up scheduling and hosting a course that you taught us for about, what was it, 4 days? 4 days of
4 days.
3 years ago, something like that. So a 4-day course, and then from there, guys took the test, got certified, and been keeping up on their certifications or CE, making sure that we keep up with all that.
Okay, lots to unpack there. Mike, do you remember, and if you don't remember, I do you remember how much it costs for each individual to take that course?
Each individual was around $1,000.
Yep, you're right. And you sent, 16 people through it?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
16, 15 of us, somewhere in there.
That's a big chunk of change. That's $15,000 or $16,000.
Mm-hmm.
And were those guys getting paid or covered off duty when they were not on duty come?
No, that was voluntary.
That was on them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the department dished out a 15 or 16 grand to bring NSCA TSAC facilitator course to your department. Mm-hmm. Now, my listeners, what that includes is the training, it includes the manual, and it includes the ability to challenge the test, and you get a 1-year membership to the NSCA.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, do you remember how many of your people ultimately challenged and passed the test?
7 of us took and passed it.
Okay, so right now, his department has 7 TSAC facilitators, but here's the key. That certification was 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to maintain that certification.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us how you're maintaining the certification.
Well, I make sure that they do their monthly, the free Con Ed that the NSCA provides. So they're all aware of that. And then each year, we've all attended either virtually or physically, we've attended Tactical Annual to help us keep those credentials going.
And in case you don't know what Tactical Annual is, that is the yearly training conference for the NSCA. And registration, I think, runs around $450.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got hotel rooms, they've got travel. So right now, I'm sure most of you out there are going, holy shit, my department would never go for this. Right? But here's the thing. They're having success. So one thing that I was the teacher, one of the teachers for Mike's course. And one of the things that's great about the NSCA course is to some extent we can specialize it to what the department is wanting to do. And one of the things that they wanted to do was use Train Heroic. And so we actually went through how to program in Train Heroic, how to deliver the programs, etc. So Mike, catch me up as far as what are you doing with Train Heroic? And then next part of that question, how are you applying what you learned in your training academies?
So with Train Heroic, everybody in the department was, had an account created for them, and then they were divvied up among different TSAC coaches. And the initial process was going to be, every shift, every house had like a contact TSAC who they would end up, going to, they would be their point person in regards to, anything fitness related that they needed, whether it be programming, questioning, nutrition, that sort of thing. Everybody still has access to Train Heroic. It's not being as utilized as much as it was initially. But that was the concept behind it. That was the thought behind it. Currently, we've been using it to program for the academy, and utilizing that for myself and the other coaches to all make sure that we're on the same page when it comes to the academy PT program aspect side of things. And one thing we did in that TSAT course, I'm sure you remember this as well, is we all came together and as a group we programmed that first academy that we took over. Now I thought that was one of the most beneficial things of the TSAT course was we kind of took an audible, on the final project, and instead of working like in 5 different individual groups, we came together as one entire group and we programmed that first academy, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
And your academies generally, it's an in-house academy because you have bigger hiring classes. And are they 16 weeks? Am I remembering that correctly?
They're 10 weeks.
10 weeks. Okay.
Yes.
And you have physical fitness training every day of the academy?
Yes, every day. So this year is going to be a little bit different, but the last two, last several, but the last two were the ones that I was running. Physical fitness Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to roughly 9 a.m.
And do you change up your programming? I think I know the answer to this already, but do you change up your programming based on what your cadre of instructors have planned for the day? So if they have a burn tower day versus if they have an EMS day, you sort of customize your physical fitness training to what they're doing the rest of the day. Am I correct?
Yes, and part of that is our first half of the academy is all EMS based, and then the second half of the academy is all fireground based. So in the past, we tried to do, mainly like, basically like functional capacity type stuff and improve endurance in the first part. The first 3 to 4 weeks of the academy when they're in the EMS portion. And then once they get to the fireground, now we're working on, some strength and more weightlifting and hoping to, not fatigue them as much, in terms of their endurance, for the fireground later on.
You have to remind me, I need to hook you up with Dr. Jacob Moda because he does research into firefighter training academies, specifically training academies that break things up EMS versus fire. So
Okay.
maybe we can get a research project going with him.
For sure.
That'd be outstanding.
And this year, we're actually switching things up a little bit. We're only going to be doing like PT programming, like actual programming for the first 5 weeks of EMS. And the thought behind it is EMS is mostly classroom, lecture. They do some hands-on with the skills and running codes and that sort of thing. But for the majority of those 5 weeks, they're sitting in a classroom at a desk. So not a whole lot of energy expenditure beyond the PT portion. And then when they get to the fire ground, it's all physical all day long, you know? So what we've seen in the past couple of years is they get to like week 6, week 7, which is weeks, 1 and 2, maybe 2 and 3 of the fire academy. And now you start to see like stress injuries, fatigue injuries, these little nagging things start to pop up, like some AC sprains or knee issues, bicep tendonitis. Like it's popped up like clockwork the last couple of years. So what I'm going to experiment with this year is we're going 5 weeks hard PT, through EMS, while the back half of academy training energy wise is very low. And then when they get to the fire ground, they're still going to go through, their regular warm-ups, their calisthenic warm-ups, maybe some sort of, cadenced, circuit, body weight type of circuit to get their bodies warmed and prepped. And then once they're done with that, now let's go to the fire ground. And I'm going to see if it helps reduce any of those stress injuries along the way. Also see if their bodies are then able to recover, physically and nutritionally throughout those 5 weeks, and see if any of the injuries, taper down at all.
That is such a good thought, and I cannot wait to hear what you find. Holding my breath.
Yeah.
When does your academy start?
April 21st is like our administration day, and then our first day of training is April 24th.
All right, more to follow. Mm-hmm. We'll update you later. One of the things I also want to bring out for the listeners is we've already established that your department made an investment. They invested in you, they invested in training, they invest in continuing education, but they don't stop there. They are willing to bring in outside experts to help train your people. I know you had Megan Lautz, the rescue RD. I just gave my sleep lecture 9 times a couple of weeks ago, which was amazing because being in the room with people and giving a lecture live is so much better than Zoom. But what other, in addition to those 2 sort of resources, what else have you brought in the last few years?
Well, Megan was one of the first that we brought in for our candidates throughout the academy. She does a awesome, basically welcome to the fire service nutrition presentation that is 4 or 5 weeks, 4 to 5 different presentations that she's built out, and they were all on point, like completely on point, from the welcome to the academy, here's what you need to be doing to prep, here's what your day is going to look like, here's how you should be eating, blah, 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 to, all right, now you're leaving the academy, here's what you do at a house that's slow, here's how you eat at a house that's very quick, very fast, is very busy. All of it was spot on, all of it was relevant and pertains to our job as firemen, firewomen, just the fire service in general, which is essential in grabbing our attention, because as well as I do, if you're an outsider in the fire service and you're lecturing us and you don't have the experience, you kind of lose it. You lose all our attention really quick, but having people, experts in their field that also pertain to our field, it's a serious attention grabber. So having experts like you and Megan come in and talk to us and like I said, like be able to grab our attention and pertain to our lives and know what we're going through, that's huge.
And And I guess I'm going to put a bow on this, and then we're going to transition to some different questions. But I guess what I would like to hear from you is your opinion. Do you think that you would be as successful as you are? What is your title, Mike? Are you the wellness coordinator?
Call it fitness committee leader.
Fitness committee leader. Okay. Would you be as successful as the fitness committee leader if you hadn't been able to get the other guys trained, if your department wasn't willing to invest in continuing education, and if your department said, no, we're not going to invest in bringing anyone from outside inside? Would you be as successful?
I highly doubt it. I mean, like I said, if there's one thing I know, it's that I can't do it alone. It's just the time and the resources for one person to do it. It's daunting, and it could completely overconsume you. And also, I know that I'm not the expert in every single field. There are other people who are. There are other people who have, the resources and the presentations and the material, and the time and the energy that are able to do all these other things that, okay, well, hey, this is a great topic. It needs to be presented. Let's talk to, so-and-so about, presenting to us, rather than, myself or somebody else trying to put together a half-assed presentation without the knowledge, without, all the research and the background on the topic itself. And then also at the same time, again, as well as I do, when it's somebody who you work with who's trying to present to you, you kind of just, okay, yeah, whatever you're saying, you kind of nod off and you're halfway attentive at best. But when you have somebody else who's an outsider, who's now the expert in the field, they come and they present, it's like, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. So that's part of my strategy too, with bringing other fitness professionals in, is like, hey, look, we talk about these things, you hear me, but it kind of goes in one ear out the other. Now you have somebody else saying it too. It kind of like, oh yeah, all right, that makes sense. I get it. So that's kind of my game plan with that as well.
And I'm going to answer my question for you, and I'm going to say, if anyone could do it, it would be you, but it would require you going on a 44 or 40 or whatever, however you guys do it, a day shift work week, where that was your only job.
Oh yeah, and that's been presented as well. They did ask me at one point in time if I'd be willing to go to days and only do, our fitness stuff and our strength conditioning stuff, which is at this point in time not something that I'm interested in. I want to be a firefighter. I want to work shift. I want to do those things. But again, like you said, to do the work that it would require to do all the presenting and do all the research and all the things that are needed, yeah, of course, it would be a definitely 40, 50, 60-hour work week day position.
For sure. Okay. So I want to transition away from your job at the fire department as a firefighter, as a strength and conditioning coach, and I want to get into your personal business that you're kind of launching, getting off the ground right now. I know you're still sort of feeling the waters, but step one, what is your business called?
So my business is called Hydra Performance, HYDRA Performance, LLC. And essentially it's a fitness, health, wellness, nutrition, coaching, yeah.
Okay. And we talked about this at lunch, and what you said is that you are going to be focusing on first responders, specifically firefighters, not necessarily only on firefighters, but tell me about some of your other credentials that you've collected throughout the years on your path to starting this business.
Well, I've got like a little bit of alphabet soup, not quite the amount of soup that you have behind your name, but a little bit.
Are you a collector too?
Yeah, I like the letter collection. for
I
sure.
know it's a sickness. It's
It
fine.
really is. Whether I do things with it or not, at least I like to learn about it. I feel like if I can go to somebody who can teach me on this, like, why not just learn it all myself? You know. So NSCA, CSCS, we mentioned before, TSAC facilitator, precision nutrition level 1 coach. I was a United States, USAW, so United States of America weightlifting level 1 coach at one point. I went through functional range conditioning, master of what is it? MS, mobility specialist.
Yeah.
I was a NASM certified personal trainer at one point. So yeah, quite a few things.
And are you taking the precision nutrition sleep course too, or is that someone
No, I
else?
plan on doing that. I definitely plan
You
on
are
doing
a
that. Yeah.
collector.
Again,
You are a
I like
collector.
to read, I like to learn, so why not?
Why not? I agree. It is a sickness though. So my listeners, what I'm going to ask you to do is just a call to action to follow Mike's business account on Instagram, watch him unfold and open up his doors for business. And Mike, what is that account called?
The Instagram is Hydra_performance_LLC.
Beautiful. And did you make that not private?
I still have to do that.
Michael.
I'm working on it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So this is the part of the talk where I say, what did I miss? Where did I go wrong? What else do you want to talk about? What does the world need to know about you and your program and the fire service?
Oh, man. So I guess if there's something that, like, a message that I would want to deliver is that, firemen, firefighters, engineers, lieutenants, chiefs, like, we all hold, or we should all be held to, like, a certain level of expectation. When we are called, we have a service to show up and, provide care and comfort, to the citizens who call us. And I think literally the easiest thing that we can do to provide comfort and care for those people is to take care of ourselves first. You know what I mean? If we come out of the rig and we look like a hot mess, or just unfit, unkept, like, these people who are in need, who this is the worst day of their lives because they called us, they're not really eased at that. They're like, wait, this is who came to rescue me? This is who came to help me? Can they even help themselves? So, in my mind and in my philosophy is like, look, I've got a job. If I don't have the brain power to help these people, well, at least maybe I can ease them somehow just by showing up and looking the part, right? That's one thing, like, I try to keep in mind. It's like, it's not just working out, and it's not just, a love for fitness. It's also our job. It's our job to be fit. It's our job to be able to do all things that are requested and required of us. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to take care of yourself and to be healthy and to be fit.
Oh my gosh. I think you could possibly just drop the mic right there. That is the literal definition. I did a post last week of the most powerful words that can be heard are "I've got you." So whether that's grandma that just broke her hip, whether it's me trapped under a car, whatever, having someone there saying "I've got you" is absolute. That's so powerful. And what you're talking about is portraying "I've got you."
For sure.
So
For sure.
good. So good. Whew.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listeners, I'm going to put Mike's contact information, his various Instagram accounts in the show notes, and I'd encourage you to give him a follow. He posts really cool stuff. And with that, AZ and MP, are officially
Out.
out.